Hey guys, elsewhere here. We're back in the kitchen. I'm working from a little different angle here, and I think I might be dealing with some acoustics. So I'll play this back. I'm talking directly to a wall, so hopefully, it sounds okay when I play it back. And as long as you guys can basically hear me, that's all I'm really going for. Again, we're under our beautiful skylight here in the kitchen, and I posted a video. I think it went up maybe this morning, and I had prepared some food, and I had mentioned I might try and do a roux, and that's what we're gonna do this morning. We're gonna do SOS, stuff on a shingle, for breakfast. So this is my, actually this is chicken fat out of the stock. I skimmed it off the top. I think I might add a little bit of butter to this. I'm going for, I think I have 1.5 cups of liquid, so I only want about a tablespoon of roux. So this might be enough. We'll see. And then over here, I'm going to show you this neat little trick of mine. I fried the bread yesterday, and I wish I would have remembered then what I'm going to show you now, but I didn't. So today we're going to do, it'll be a little bit lighter. The potatoes and carrots got eaten last night for dinner, so today we're gonna do, this might sound weird, but that's not supposed to be spattering. There isn't any moisture in this pan, so here's the trick of the day. A friend of mine years ago, he was barbecuing at our house, and he was putting the buns on the grill, and he went and he did this super thin coat of mayonnaise on the bread before he toasted it. And it is such a tiny amount. You can still see all of the bread coming through. It's just the tiniest amount. And of course I still put mine in butter because I'm making buttered toast for breakfast. But it changes absolutely everything about toasted bread. And then you may have noticed yesterday, I only toast one side. And the reason I do that, which I wish more places that did prepared food, like when you go out and you order a sandwich somewhere, the reason I only toast one side is because the toast goes on the inside, and then you still have the soft bread on the outside, so it's not chewing up the roof of your mouth when you bite into it. And you still get all the flavor of it being toasted, and it tastes really good. And then it's sort of this steamed, chewy texture on one side, but you still get that crispy, toasted flavor on the other side, and it's a really great way to have your bread. Not only that, but by keeping the outside plain, your hands don't get greasy, and when you're handling, finger food, it's just not as messy. So anyway, that's my little fried bread tip of the day. The other thing is, you don't have to put this in butter, of course. It could just go down with that really thin coat of mayo. People ask me, I do, especially my sister, she doesn't like mayonnaise, and people ask me if they can substitute things like sour cream, and my answer to that is, mayo is oil and eggs, sour cream is dairy. So while they look the same, the consistency is similar. There's absolutely nothing comparable about those two things. You would almost be better off just using a plain oil, or beating an egg. So, but a plain oil, if you have to substitute mayonnaise, mayonnaise is a substitution for oils and all kinds of things like baking. People substitute mayonnaise for whatever oil goes in a recipe anyway. It's a baker's secret to keep things really moist. And again, it's eggs and oil. So if a recipe only calls for, the recipe calls for 2 eggs and you only have 1 egg, and you know you need a 1/4 cup of oil to make the cake, then you just, you can figure that out, and you can use your mayonnaise to compensate for the egg you're missing and incorporate the oil you need for the recipe. So yeah. A little note, this is getting going. I think I'm gonna add my flour. Basically, all I know about making a roux is you want equal parts flour and fat. I'll be right back. I think my dog wants in. I left the door open for him. We'll see if he comes in. I like this little whisk specifically for, can't see it, things like this, because it's kind of flat on the bottom, and so I can get in there and move this around. I can already smell it. It smells delicious. Again, this pan is low and slow. The roux will takes a long time. My understanding, I don't do this very often, but if you want it to stay lighter, then low and slow, and you know, watch your color. But also, there's our bread. Whew, hot. And we're done with that. This will come back on. We'll use that oil to do the eggs. So, kind of low and slow, and you just cook it until you get the color you want. I have some bits because, of course, a little bit of the chicken broth went down with the fat, and so one of the things I was doing while I was waiting to add the flour, I was waiting for that liquid to evaporate and for that to turn into these yummy little brown chunks that'll be in the gravy now. And yeah, we just sit here. My understanding is one of the reasons you want to do this low and slow is because flour actually takes a little while to cook. It can take about 10 minutes. And so you don't want it to brown and get dark and basically burn before it's actually cooked through. Or your food, you know, people say food tastes pasty, or they can taste the flour. It's because it's raw. It's just not cooked all the way. So, and this is why, you know, if you want to do a roux, if you want to do a gravy, it's a commitment, especially if you have to separate everything out of that big, huge pan with that chicken and all those vegetables, and you don't really need a gravy that day. I mean, you just have like, I mean, there's so much food. There's just so much food. So, and you have to stir this. You can't let it go. The flour will scorch really easily, and you just have to commit. So here's our stock, and to that I'm going to add just a tiny bit of Lea & Perrins. And I'm just adding that into the liquid. And then in this, once this is, just before I put in the liquid, I might add just a little bit of onion powder to this. And that'll be our seasoning for stuff on a shingle. So while I'm doing this, you can probably see these little orange handles. So this is a little mini pot of that big Dutch oven that I did the chicken in. So she has 3 sizes. These are her grandmother's pans. You know, I just can't emphasize enough. You know, I talked about it on the walk the other day, and you know, it just really leads right back into this house with absolutely everything. Just going back, you know, we have 3 generations of my family and 3 generations of her family just in this house. This house was, I believe, the original building. It was a barn. And the original building was built back in the 20s, and then Jackie's dad bought this place from either his dad or her dad, and that was in 1937. So, and Jackie was born in 1926. So, anyway, just super. And then this was, before this was a residence, this was the, you know, the ranch house, and this kitchen's always been the commercial kitchen, and, you know, the chicken house I talk about is right out here in back, you know. And anyway, it was a entire industry. Obviously, there's been some remodels done. I'll just do this just because I kind of have a little bit of time. So just to give you an idea, we have, these are my uncle's carved spoon. There's a ladle as well. And this spoon sits over to the left on a shelf, and the ladle is over to the right. And these are older than me. I turned 50 this year, and these are older than me. And they've been in this kitchen since before I was born. This potter has known this family for 70 years. And they met in Montana 70 years ago, and this potter ended up buying a small parcel from Jackie's family and moving here. And the neat thing is, all of her dishes are from this potter, the ones that are on the shelf. And these were actually purchased by Jackie's mother, and so these are all these could be, no exaggeration, these could easily be 50 years old. They might not be quite that old, but it wouldn't be exaggerating. That would be totally feasible. And that potter is still here, and when we're out on our walks, sometimes she rides by on her bike and they stop and they visit, and that's really cool. Then we have, Jackie was our grade school teacher, and so and one of our field trips was to go to the potter's house, and we'd get a little lump of clay, and we all made these dishes. And I have mine, I have my brother's, and this is Jackie's mug. with her, it has her little signature on the bottom, and that's from one of our field trips up to the Potter's house. And so anyway, we just have, you know, I'm surrounded. My ancestors built the place. My teacher lives here. The cabinets are, you know, that the woodworker that did these cabinets lives right over there. It's all local, like so much that's local and goes back like so far. The timbers in this house were hewn by my great grandparents. So it's just, you know, an absolute privilege to be here and cooking, and you know, it just looks like a little orange pot, but it matters. This pan is 120 years old, maybe. As you can see, of course, things have been modified. They did they remodeled the kitchen, I believe, in the early 80s, and they did a really good job. You know, they really paid attention to the appliances, and I'm gonna increase this just a little bit because we're gonna get ready to start adding our liquid. Some of the things I really love about the things they did with the remodel, we have a huge stainless single bay sink. It's elbow deep. It's awesome. And then over right there, right here, that is a little Insta-Hot spout. So I have boiling water just fresh out of the spout, and it's about 2 cups. I think it's only about 2 cups because I have one as well, and mine's 2 gallons, and it's bigger. But it just mounts under the sink, and then you get, like, you know, and it doesn't mix with the regular faucet. The other thing I love is, I don't know if I can really, I can show you here. This is our towel drawer. But these, they are like spring loaded. So they don't slam, they're on rollers. It's just, they kind of spring open, and it just goes back. So, you know, the hardware, you know, it was just really well done. The floors are brick, and I'll tell you, man, you gotta wear good shoes and you gotta take a break. I would put, for safety reasons, we don't put stress mats in here because if Jackie wants to spend time in the kitchen, there's, you know, can grab a toe and over they go. We do have a mat back here to do dishes, and sitting on or standing on that is like, it makes such a huge difference. So I wear, seems kind of silly, but most of the time, especially this time of year, I wear these flip-flops, but the sole is like is a stress mat. It's a high density foam, kind of like a yoga mat material, and so they work really well on this floor. And it's okay because I'm not like busting ass. If this was a kitchen and I was trying to, like, you know, high activity, of course I would need a better shoe, but I'm standing here mixing roux. Okay, we're gonna increase this heat. Want to see bubbles? Excuse me. I mentioned it yesterday. I have allergies because we've started mowing, and it's just like my noses and my eyes they're just like a faucet, and they drip water. Like I can't blow my nose and make it stop or go away. It's just continual. So I just have to just block. What else? What is happening? Let's see. Did that walk through the backwoods. Yesterday we saw like 8 eagles, and it was kind of odd because, I mean, you'll see them up high. There's several nests out here, and eagles aren't uncommon. That's a normal, everyday thing. But they were so low and close, and like, you know, we walked past a few that were like basically at eye level. They were out over the bank, so they were in the tops of the trees, but they were almost eye level with us, and they were only about 30 feet away. It was really incredible. So of course we had to stop, just like you saw me do in that video. Stop and listen to the birds and watch. See if you know what you can spot. Okay, this is starting to bubble, and the rue is starting to kind of stick to the bottom of the pot. So my goal here is I don't have to use all that liquid, and I did a very small. There's my dog again. I'll be right back. His timing is impeccable because I'm getting ready to put the chicken stock in the gravy. He knows what's up. Chicken, well, he doesn't beg, but he'll come stand with me in the kitchen. Like, I smell chicken. He doesn't even get human food. I don't feed him human food or give him snacks. Or if I do, I put him in his dog bowl at home, like where he eats. But he's still, chicken is just no fail. Chicken and bacon. He's got to come check it out. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up a little bit higher now. Let some small bubbles go in. We want the liquid to basically bubble when it hits. And then what I was saying, I'm only really going for, if I only made enough roux to make a half a cup of gravy, that's okay, because I just want it for breakfast. You can do roux in big batches, and then just take what you need for this, for whatever you're doing later. So you can make like a little half pint jar and keep it in the fridge, and you can just scoop a little tablespoon out, and it's ready to go. You don't have to do this process, which of course is a good thing, because this process, you can see, I'm going on 24 minutes. So let's see if we can get this going. Take just a little bit. Yep, that's exactly what I want. Oh, might steam things up there a little bit. Sorry, guys. And here we go again. It's basically, not only is it thickening the liquid, but the heat is reducing the liquid, and that's what you want. And then, thank you, Mommy. My mommy is my gravy teacher. And we let this bubble and it'll get thick, and we'll add more liquid, and then we'll let it bubble and it'll get thick, and then we'll add more liquid. And so this is coming out beautiful. I actually probably only used about a half a cup. It might be enough. We'll see. You can kind of see ribbons in the top of you can see like the pattern. But you can also see how it bubbles up like that. So it's thickening. See, it's thickening. So you just let it keep doing that. I can see the bottom of the pan. So we're gonna add in just a little bit more. You only need about just maybe a quarter cup at a time. That's all you add, and then you gotta let it come up. So we can increase our heat here a little bit. Like I said before, this is a process. This is a commitment. You're at the stove from the time you put the flour and the butter in the pan, or whatever fat you're using, the flour and the fat, basically through the gravy process. And here we're gonna bubble again. There we go. We're gonna turn that off. I'm gonna put this cute little lid on there. There's our gravy. That'll stay hot. I only used not even, maybe a cup of liquid, which means I probably had about half a tablespoon of fat and half a tablespoon of butter in here. I found my knife, so I just wanted to show you guys the comparison of, this is what I use. This is what I had to use yesterday for, you can see it's like a sword. Like, it's ridiculous. And this is my chef's knife. I'm gonna do 2 toasts for her. This one I'll just do butter. Yesterday I only did 1 slice of toast because I did the eggs over the potatoes. Today I'm gonna do the savory mayo toast under the gravy, and then I'm gonna put her sunny side up eggs on top of that. So this will be toast and jam on the side. So toast 2 ways. You know, hey, if only. It's kind of funny to me because I'm fairly strict. I ate potatoes last week and it messed with me so bad. My inflammation, my body was swollen, my rings are still extremely tight. They're a nightshade, they cause inflammation, I know that. this is why I speak about, you know, how gratifying it's been for me to find an anti-inflammatory discipline for my diet specifically, because honestly, it's like, it's not like I cheated on my diet. It's like, you know, I just looked good. Everybody else was eating them, and I don't, you know, it's not a calorie thing. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna eat a potato and get fat. Except that's exactly what happens, because it causes inflammation, which causes swelling, which just creates problems in my life that I don't need and that I can totally prevent. So here's our, and whoa, that's higher than it should be. Shit, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to turn on the fan, which I love. Got my 2 eggs. Go ahead and put a little more butter down for the eggs. See, I'm gonna have to watch this now because my pan's hotter than I normally have it when I put the eggs down. But it's gonna cools down pretty quickly with the fan running, so I don't have to worry about it too much. It'll, see, I got a little bit of a splatter there, and I don't really want that. You and I, it's no big deal, and a lot of people actually like the little lacy brown edges that you get around your eggs, but for her, I have to either cut that off completely or make sure I go through and actually cut through that, because she can't cut through it. It's hard to chew. It's just not really all that great for her. So you can kind of see here where the thicker whites are. I'll go in and cut this out. And I just leave that in the pan, and that goes for my first meal of the day, which is the point I was getting at. I don't eat breakfast, none of this food. It's like I live vicariously through this lady when I'm cooking for her. She's had a very healthy life and hasn't had any issues really. Excuse me while I not get all this toast on her plate. So that's cut up for her. I'll get the jam for her. I always say I don't always know exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have a 100% game plan, so I wasn't doing toast and jam. There wasn't going to be a second piece of toast. But just realizing not only portion wise but nutritionally, just that. And it's something sweet, so she has a savory and a sweet, and that's what's so great about breakfast. You know, you always get the toast and jam, or you get sugar, cream and sugar in your coffee, or you get something that sets off the savory food. Eggs are down, gravy's done. I can turn this off, we're low. So the lid is the moisture is condensing on the lid right now, and the last time I made eggs, I had said, you heard it, the water splatter down into the pan. That's when I know my eggs are done. If I leave that lid on and I let that water go down and steam, hit that hot pan and steam, it's increasing the temperature, and my eggs are going from 95% done to hockey pucks in like 30 seconds if you leave that steam in there. And that's why the temperature, I knew it was a little bit high, and I knew I was gonna kind of burn my edges a little bit. But the timing on the condensation on the lid, we'll hear it start to hit the pan, and that's how I know when they're done. So let's see, I'll plate this for you guys. So, not for the gravy on a typical day. I think yesterday breakfast only took about 25 minutes, really, total cook time. And as you can see, I don't rush. Today we're going on 40 minutes right now, and it's mostly because I did the gravy and I made the roux from scratch. And so, like I said, something like gravy is not difficult. You have to use really good ingredients. You know, if you can skim the fat off your chicken stock that you're making at home, like I did with those really good fresh ingredients, use that fat. Chicken fat doesn't store well because it will go rancid, but if you make the roux and you cook it and you keep it in the refrigerator in a sealed jar, like I could keep my bacon grease. You know, I just put it in a jar like this, not even this size, it's actually this size. It's a little kind of half pint size. And that'll be like 8 tablespoons of roux, and that's good for like 8 quarts of liquid. So, and you can keep it in your fridge. Here we are, see, hear that? There we go. Turn this off. They are a little bit done, I can tell. A little bit cloudy at the top of the yolk. And I gotta take off like most of this. Just because that lacy little fringy bit is hard to cut and it's hard to chew. So don't do that. My favorite offset gets right into the corner of the pan. And here is our gravy going down. And this spoon is a 1/4 cup. So she'll get about a 1/2 cup of gravy here. I didn't add the onion powder because this really it smells delicious. I'm sure it has all the flavors of the. Here we are. So this is off and we can cover. I don't want to lick the spoon. Let's see what there. So here we go, guys. SOS, 2 eggs, soft yolk, sunny side up, and you can see they're a little cloudy over the top. They'll still be running. It's okay, they still jiggle a little bit, but that's a little more, little overdone. But we have our homemade gravy down over our mayonnaise fried toast and a little toast and jam on the side. And that will come with a 4-ounce glass of whole milk. And yeah, this will be gone in under 10 minutes. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great day, and Elsewhere out.